everybody. This video discuss on designing interview questions, a step-by-step guide. Interview is one of many methods used by the researchers to gain qualitative data from the fieldwork. However, what is the interview? Many definitions on interview from many methodology books, but one of the famous definition is that interview is about face-to-face interactions, either physical or video call, between researcher and respondent. The interview must be oral interviews, and the interview results are recorded using video or audio and in electronic media and transcribed. But what actually is the interview? How are we going to design our interview questions? There are three things that many researchers concern on designing their interview questions. What question to ask respondents? And then the second question that researcher might ask themselves is how to design appropriate interview questions. And then the third one, what writing style should be used. There are three types of interview questions. They are structured, semi-structured, and open-ended. And each of these types will be discussed in detail in this video. Interview types 1 is a structured questions. This is also called as the close-ended questions. It's quite similar with the questionnaires for the survey questions. And this question cannot be changed. The question based on the list of identified themes. No explanations of the questions, no additional question, close-ended questionnaires, and data collected orally from the interviewees. This is the only that we can differentiate between the structured interview question than the normal questionnaires. Type 2 of the interview question is a semi-structured questions. This is the most popular and widely used by the researchers for the interview questions data collections. This is a semi-formal questions. The question rearranged during the interview sessions. The level of interview question corresponds to the respondents. The questions can be added, reduced. And the third one, the last one, is the open-ended question, which is totally unstructured questions for the interview. And this is a informal, widely open questions. No sequence of questions, no list of questions, just the outline of the question. The interviewer can make an explanation and change it according to the suitability of the subject during the interview sessions. These types of questions is more suitable for group interviews or focus group discussion, or we call it as a FGD. There are 4 steps to design interview questions. Step 1, the researcher needs to set purpose and interview objectives. And for the second step is the researcher needs to design the interview theme frameworks. The third one, or the third step is the researcher needs to identify level and category of questions. And then the fourth one, this is the last step for the designing the interview question, is researcher need to develop the questions instrument based on the interview themes framework. All right, we go for the step 1, how to set up purpose and interview questions. The researcher need to refer back to the research objective or research question that already set up or established in chapter 1. This is to guide the researchers shaping questions before the interview is conducted, designing questions for achieving research objective, and measuring a declarative statements. The second step is designing the interview themes framework. So what the researchers need to do is providing a list of themes for measurement. We really need this, what actually the list of themes or the list of constructs for the measurement. So where can we get this list of construct or list of themes? This list can be obtained from the review of the literature in chapter 2 and sometimes can be specified through reductions analysis. And then researchers need to rearrange the identified themes to form the interview theme framework. The third step that researchers need to do before designing the interview question is identify level and category of question that he or she might need to ask the respondents. So at this level, we lay down the example of level and category of question that researcher might be considered in designing the questionnaires interview. There are actually 4 categories of level that researcher need to consider. The first level of category is about if the researchers need to ask the respondent about their views or perspective. The second one is the questions that the researcher need to design either seeking the opinions of the respondent. And the third one, the question that might the researcher ask the respondent is either you need for the confirmations or validation from the respondents, or the fourth one is researchers construct or design the question just to seek the respondents to identify or to confirm or to identify the what things that they need to answer for the studies. And then the fourth step is the last step for the designing the interview questions. So by developing the questions instrument. So this is the last part of the designing the questions interview. So the first thing that the researchers need to design the front page of the interview questions form, which is provide a summary of the information related to the studies, such as research title, the name of the organizations, objective of the study, researcher's name, and any other particulars about the researchers and the supervisors, and if required, the undertaking letter for the confidential. So this is a very important to give a very brief view about what actually the researchers studies, so that the respondent can have some ideas before they want to answer any question within the interview questionnaire form. Okay, so after we have finalized the front page, so we go to the part 1. Part 1 is about the respondent profile. We need to actually comply and compile all the respondent profile, either the names, the designations, the experience, academic qualifications, and so on. So the part 2 that we have to develop or we have to design the questionnaires regarding to the research objective. So at here, you have to list down all the identified themes in the interview theme framework and start designing or construct the questions. And the question that you want to construct must be drafted and identify it within the level of category of the question, either the question is in the identification form, either the question that you want to construct within the confirmatory or validations form. Is it about the opinion, the questions that you need to design? Is it in the opinion form or view or perspective from the respondent? So you need to, at this level, be able to confirm, be able to identify and confirm what types and category or level of question that you might ask from the selected respondent that you already identified in for your fieldwork. Okay, now we start on the example of designing instrument for interview questions. Okay, for the step one, so we need to set up purpose and interview objectives. So refer to the research objective question set up in the chapter one. For example, I take my own students PSM in 2020. Her study is about the mengenal pasti kepentingan perwataan tanah reserve terhadap masyarakat orang Muslim. And then for the step two, that we need to design the interview themes here. So this researcher, my students, already done the reduction analysis in the chapter 2 for the literature review, and she managed to identify two themes to construct that identify for the kepentingan for achieving the objective of this study on the kepentingan perwataan tanah orang asli, which is hak pemilikan, is a theme one, and the kelestarian economy for the theme two. And these themes identify based on the reduction analysis and the source from the literature review. And then go to the step 3 on the identify a level and category of questions. So now she can manage to construct the questions. So for the theme 1 is about the hak pemilikan. And the researchers, my student already identified for these questions, she need to construct the question based on the perspective of view of the respondents. Also on the she also seek for out the opinion of the respondent, the confirmatory of the respondent, and also the identifications. And then for the theme 2, which is on the kelestarian socio-economic, so my student, this researcher need to actually confirm either this question fall within the perspective of view of the respondents, the opinion, confirmatory or validation, or the identifications from the respondents. So and so on. If there is other themes, so these questions, interview question will be continued. This sort of that the question for interviews form is a live question form. It's not like the questionnaires one. And then for the step 4, so this researcher managed to get to compile, to get everything all together from the by developing this question instrument. So they get all the front page. So you have the university logo, the name of the university and address, the research title and aim, researcher's name and contact details, supervisor's name and contact details, and disclaimer if any. And then the part 1 for this interview questions form is about the respondent profile or demography. So at this form, my students or the researcher already identified who are the targeted respondent, which is orang asli, Tok Batin and Jawa. And then she need to get the names, the designation, the experience, academic qualifications. It could be the age, duration of stay in that on that land, and so on. All right. And then for the part 2, So this is the theme that my student need to actually measure. So this theme is on the hak pemilikan. For the hak pemilikan themes, this researcher need to know about the keperluan perwataan, proses perwataan, and keluasan perwataan. For this type of question, so this researcher need to construct the question within this opinions, respondents form, or complementary form, or to for the respondent to be able to answer this type of question for the theme one. And then for the part 3 is for the theme 2, which is philosophy and socioeconomic. For this theme 2, this researcher need to measure need to know about the sumber pendapatan, masalah sumber pendapatan, hak pemilik dan reserve, harapan terhadap perwataan, and so on. So this type of question must be fall within either the view or perspective from the respondent, confirmatory or validation of the respondent, or the opinion of the respondents. And then this is a sample of front page interview question form, which is we have here the university logo, we have the name of the university and address, and also the contact number, and also we have the title of this research. We also have the purpose of the study. We do also have here the name of the researchers and supervisors and disclaimer. And then this is an example of the interview questions form, which is we have for the part 1 is on the respondent demography, and the part 2 is about the themes that they need to measure, which is for the theme 1 for the hak pemilikan, and the theme 2 for the kelestarian socioeconomy. And if they have any other themes generated from the keyword, they have to add in. As I told before, that for the same, this type of question, interview question form is a live question form. This is a semi-structured interview. This is therefore the researcher can add on, can reduce or add on, and then the researcher can change accordingly to follow the suitability during the interview sessions. In my next video, see you.